Anchors up, sales at full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. How are you doing?
Doing good. I can actually turn the noise gate back on because I don't crack a second beer as we record these two episodes in one night. I don't have any witty banter at the top, Kyle. Do you have any witty banter, or do you just want to get to know our enemy? I am fresh out of witty banter.
Just 4 weeks ago, we would have thought this would have been like a 2.5 point spread or something. Instead, we add an extra 0 in it, and it's a 20.5 point spread.
Yeah.
How about that? So let's get to know our enemy, the Penn State, not our rival, Nittany Lions. Coming into this game, going to just be honest here, Jared. Like, you look at the numbers, especially as a team.
Sure,
it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. 38th in the country in points per game offensively. Defensively, 33rd. Points per play, 23 offense, 38 defense. It's not a terrible team. They just had a very, very rough last 4 games here. And now that they are without their head football coach, and we got to see, hey, let's see if they can have some magic like UCLA did.
Yeah, no.
Nope. They go on the road to Iowa City and they lay a duck and lose to Iowa.
That's the second. I mean, that's an improvement because earlier in the season they got laid by a duck.
Sure, yeah. But they had less than 100 passing yards in that game.
As did Iowa, I believe.
Oh, crap, you're right, yeah. 93 yards for Ethan Gunkmeyer.
Yeah.
And 68 yards.
Yeah.
For Iowa. Combined of 0 touchdowns for both quarterbacks and 3 interceptions.
That is
so needless to say, we are
classic
not
Big Ten
worried.
Action.
Yeah. We are not worried. I am not worried about Penn State's passing attack here.
No.
Ethan coming to this game.
Runkmeyer.
Not good at all. What is that percentage? 58% passing percentage.
In his
1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
In his defense, he's only played 1 full game, and
sure,
it was against a good defense. Iowa, for all of their flaws, still
they're about to play an even better defense here.
Well, this is true. I'm just trying to not. It was also his first start. I'm just trying to build in a little bit of room for Ethan Grunkmeyer, because I don't want to just be like, he sucks based off of 1 game where he was thrown in the middle of the season, not expected to start, not expected to play, does not have good wide receivers around him. As you know, the wide receivers were not putting up great numbers when Drew Aller was in. And I know that like a lot of Ohio State fans like to crap on Drew Aller. And I always think he's going to be a better pro than he was in college. I think that Franklin didn't know how to develop a quarterback, how to put together a passing offense. They've never had a passing game. They've never had wide receivers. You could name the number of good wide receivers under James Franklin over the past. How long was he at Penn State? 10, 11, 12 years?
11 or 12 years?
Something like that. you can count on one hand the number of good wide receivers they had during that time.
Sure.
And again, I think Drew Aller's a lot better quarterback than Ohio State fans would give him credit for. I don't think he was the problem at Penn State.
No.
Which is to say, even if Ethan Grunkmeyer was a really good quarterback, I don't think that him stepping in is going to suddenly fix things, that things are suddenly going to get better at Penn State, because I don't think Drew Aller was the problem.
No.
And even if
definitely,
and even if Penn State, even if James Franklin is gone, it still has his offensive coaching staff in place at Penn State.
Yeah. That's the problem here. Like in this game here, the thing Ohio State is going to have to worry about is the dual running backs. Very good,
incredibly talented
running backs. Incredibly. Could they go off? Sure. They could go off against Ohio State. I mean, Allen, they rushed Allen 28 times against Iowa for 145, averaging over 5 yards a carry. That is a workhorse there.
Yeah.
Singleton didn't get as much action in that game there, but he very, very much could see a lot of action against Ohio State. But two very, very dangerous running backs. And then the wide receivers, I'm not worried. Not worried about the wide receivers, honestly, too. Like I'm looking at the stats here, Jared, for the teams here, receiving wise. Like nobody is over 255 yards.
Right.
They don't have a go-to receiver. They don't really have a playmaker and receiver as well too. So I'm not worried. Like Ohio State can play. They could just play one safety deep and then everybody up.
Yeah.
That's how. Like
this will be a Peyton.
This is
Pierce
a very
game.
one-dimensional offense.
This is a Peyton Pierce game. This is not a nickelback game. This is a Peyton Pierce game. Look for three linebackers. Look for, as Kyle said, one safety deep. A safety up in the box. You're basically looking at like a 4-4 with, potentially, a safety playing linebacker.
Put Caleb Downs 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. This is load the box up. This is going to be some muscle football. That's what it's going to be.
Not worried about their tight ends either. There always seems to be a tight end in there that Penn State loves to go to. Not so much this year. Neither tight end has really stepped up. Luke Reynolds recently is getting a lot more catches, but nothing I'm really worried about offensively here.
Right.
Ohio State scores more than 10 points, they win the game.
Right. Going back to Ethan Grunkmeyer, I looked up his recruiting numbers. He was the number 8 according to 24/7. The number 8 quarterback in the country, just outside the top 100 players overall in the country, and the third best player from Ohio. Like, he's got recruiting numbers. Ohio kid, Columbus kid, essentially. He's from Lewis Center, which is northern suburb.
Yep.
But so I'm just saying,
Penn State loving to go to Ohio to get their quarterbacks, right?
Sure. So I'm just saying, like, he's had a bye week. We might be seeing. It is within the realm of possibilities that we see a different Ethan Grunkmeyer this game than we saw against Iowa. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, he got thrown in, was not expected to play much this year, was not expected to start this year. Gets thrown in against Iowa. That game did not go well for him. Iowa has a really good defense, but now they've had a bye week. And by the way, a coaching change. My goodness. On top of everything else, and on top of him playing in his first game, it was with a brand new coach mid-season. I'm just saying he had a lot going against him for a redshirt freshman quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot going against him in that Iowa game. Now he's had a bye week. A bye week with the new coaching staff, a bye week with him as the quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to pop out onto the field and be Julian Sayin. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's entirely possible that he's a lot, significantly better than what we saw against Iowa. Again, does that mean he's going to come out and light the world on fire? No, probably not.
No. Defensively, still a pretty good defensive team. I think some of the numbers are a little misleading here because right now they're showing that they are the number 5 team in passing yards per game, number 10 in passing yards per pass. But teams are just running up against them, though. Right. They're at 98th in the country in running yards per game, 76th in running yards per rush. Like they're just deciding to run over passing. Now, I'm not saying like their secondary is still pretty good. The key Wheatley plays up. He's one of the leading tacklers for Penn State. Gets up there, kind of like Downs. Gets up there, makes the tackles that needs to be made. But I'm not. Don't be surprised if Ohio State gets their third down percentage gets lowered after this game here. This is still a really good Penn State defense, but they're just not going to be able to keep up offensively. I think as the game goes along, the offense can't stay on the field. The defense has to go back on, can't catch their breath, and the Ohio State offense is going to start wearing down the defense as the game goes along. Maybe closer than what a lot of fans want in the first half there. Maybe something like 14-3, something like that in the first half, but then Ohio State rolls on in the third quarter.
So what you have an interesting dynamic here, right? Have we mentioned yet that the Coach Knowles is the defensive coordinator for Penn State, who obviously was the defensive coordinator for Ohio State the previous 3 seasons? And a lot of people would be like, he saw us every day in practice. Well, this coaching staff saw him every day in practice. And this defense, despite being very old, very experienced, has had some really bad games. And we know as Ohio State fans that Knowles would have a few bad games a year. Well, a couple bad games a year where things just sort of broke down. They allowed a pretty haphazard Iowa offense to score 25 on them. Northwestern, is not a good football team, scored 22 points on them. They allowed UCLA to score 42 against them. Oregon, and granted this happened in 2 overtimes, so this was not a in regulation score, scored 30 points against them. So
Yeah, it was 17 in regulation.
right.
Yeah, and that's why I think like it could be pretty low scoring in that first half there.
Okay, but also UCLA.
Sure.
And also Northwestern and Iowa don't have good offenses and put up 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about all these defensive numbers, and the defensive numbers on paper look good. But they've played one good offense all year. Maybe two good offenses. The UCLA is a little... You kind of never know what you're going to get with UCLA. So let's say two... They're UCLA is talented but very inconsistent. So let's say two good offenses. Let's count UCLA. That allowed 30 points and 42 points against the only two good offenses they've played this year.
Sure.
Those defensive numbers are inflated by the fact that their out-of-conference schedule was Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova. Villanova, I think some people were surprised to find out actually have a football program. They are an FCS school in football. It's the only place FCS exists. That's a redundant thing to say. And as far as like FBS programs, it would be difficult to find two worse FBS programs than Nevada and Florida International. They are two of the worst FBS programs you can find. Like Ohio, Ohio would destroy all three of these teams.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Anything else, Jared? Anything else you want to point out here before we take our ad break here?
No, let's take the ad break.
All right. Awesome. All right. TheSloopcast.com is your go-to link for anything and everything Sloopcast related. You can find our YouTube page there, youtube.thesloopcast.com, where you can check out any of our other videos from our past recordings. If you want to help support Jared and I, and you can head on over to merch.thesloopcast.com to pick up some merchandise that Jared has designed. Or if you don't want any kind of podcast ones, want some cool Ohio-based shirts, you can head on over to 7071.thesloopcast.com. You can find those and much more over at thesloopcast.com. Let's take that ad break, Jared, and be right back for some Sloop Sayers.
Nope. We don't need the media backup. All right. Spike says they will be up for this game, though. I don't think it matters. Quite frankly, I don't think it matters. I don't know if... One, I don't know that they will be. That you have in Penn State a team that was following the Ohio State model of, no, let's bring the seniors back for one more go. We have unfinished stuff on the table. And then obviously things have not gone that way for them. But there is a good reason why a lot of people were saying, oh man, Penn State national champions this year. Finally, the year Penn State breaks through. There was a good reason for that. They were following the model.
Yep.
So then obviously this season has not gone well for them. The thing about it to me is that like motivation can only take you so far. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to go far enough. And again, that's even assuming that they come into this with a, let's save the season with one big win over Ohio State. I don't see it. I think they're wading, that is, in the water, waiting for the season to end at this point. There's a bunch of older guys on there who are probably more worried about their NFL futures than they are the rest of this college football season. Their season's over. And
All right,
Ohio State has
some...
not shown up for a game yet this season. Ohio State is very properly motivated for a returning champion.
All right, Jared, let's go ahead and get into some slip shares here. Okay, Ohio State player to watch in this game. Who is the player you believe will step up for Ohio State in this matchup?
Who will step up, or who do they need to step up? Is more the answer. Is more the answer I'm going, or more the question I'm going to answer. If you want to win this game the way that you want to win this game, if you're going to actually go in here and shut down Penn State, and if you're going to force a bunch of 3-and-outs, and if you're going to try and get the backups in for the fourth quarter, if that's the type of game you want this to be, you have to shut down their running attack. And that starts with Caden McDonald. My Ohio State player to watch, Caden McDonald.
Gotcha. I still don't know of the hip injury that Bo Jackson has here, because I almost want to say, like, you just run it right at Penn State here. I mean, you look at defensively, they've struggled stopping the ball on the ground here. So last time Ohio State was on the field, they threw it at the weak link of Wisconsin.
Right.
Why not run it against the weak link of Penn State's defense? And that's the rushing side here. So again, I don't know the health of Bo Jackson here, but I'm going to assume that Bo Jackson is good to go. He'll get his carries here. So I'll go with Bo Jackson.
Okay. Enemy player to watch. Who do you have for that one?
I mean, it's obvious. It's Caden Allen to me. Well, it's the running backs, but if I pick one, I'll go with Caden Allen.
All right, you go with Katron Allen. I'll go with Nicholas Singleton. How about that?
Sure.
All right.
We'll call that a win.
We'll call that.
All right,
we'll call that.
Key matchup. There's a few ways you can go at this. A key matchup, you can go with Ohio State's wide receivers versus Penn State's defensive backs.
That would be a good way to go.
Both sides,
about it.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
I still like Ohio State's odds against Penn State's defensive backs there, but I think for a key matchup, I think that's the one that you want to keep an eye on.
You could do that. I think that's a good answer. I think you could also say like Penn State's running backs versus Ohio State's linebackers. You could say Penn State's interior offensive line versus Ohio State's interior defensive line. You could just say the offensive line versus the defensive line. I'm going to go a little bit more spicy. My key matchup for this one is Coach Ryan Day versus Coach Knowles.
Something interesting I just saw here. Of the 174 rushing attempts by both Allen and Singleton, 174 rushing attempts, only 11 yards lost.
Yeah.
All 11 were from Singleton. Allen, with 98 attempts, has not lost a yard. So I think it is important for Ohio State defensive line to be able to get that push, not let Penn State's offensive line get any kind of momentum and leverage. All right, the spread 20.5 to the home team of the Buckeyes.
And if you listened to our Wednesday episode, you know that Kyle, me, and Austin, all three picked both a win and a cover for Ohio State. By the way, don't forget to read Austin's answer. I think he gave answers to all of the other questions too, so we can roll through that.
Gotcha.
we don't like to joke about that here. We're gonna go ahead and remove that real quick. So yeah, we're gonna go the so let's get Austin's whole answer in. I'll say this: Ohio State undefeated against the spread. Penn State's offense is bad, unless Grunkenmeyer really takes a step forward based off of the version of him that we saw at Iowa, which I think is possible. I've already done that spiel. I've already done that. I think it's possible that we see a big leap forward, or at least a leap forward. But if we don't see that, Ohio State's going to shut out Penn State.
Mm-hmm. Grunkenmeyer was only sacked once in that game. That's something to kind of keep an eye out for.
Okay.
I'm just.
And how many yards did he throw for again?
Yeah, 90. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
20 and a half. Yeah, not enough to scare me. From what I've seen with Penn State offense here. Like I said, they score more than 10 points. They're winning this, and Ohio State will score more than that. I have the final score of 35-3. So that would easily cover the 20 and a half points.
Yeah, I agree. I have it 38-6.
Okay. All right, and Austin says here, I feel bad for Chaz Coleman, but hopefully he's a Buckeye next year anyways. Rough season gets rougher. No UCLA magic for State Penn. Penn State player to watch is Amari Campbell. Leads the team in tackles. Not really worried about Jim Knowles' defense, but yeah, Ohio State players to watch is Jeremiah Smith. Seems like the type of guy to hold a grudge, and I think he's going to want to absolutely obliterate Knowles. And he has a matchup here of Hartline versus Knowles.
Ooh.
Cinema. 35-7. Buckeyes.
Austin, I did not read your full answer, I promise. So that's just a little bit more synchronized thinking there. Speaking of Austin Kyle.
Gosh, what is the...
Oh, you ruined
the
my
point
transition.
total. Sorry, point total 43.5 points. Yeah, I got that. That's under for me. Yeah, that tells me that they don't think Penn State's going to score much at all either.
Well, I mean, if you do the Vegas math, it would be 43 minus 20. What they're saying, Penn State 13, Ohio State 33, right? No, I messed that up somewhere in there.
You did. It'd be like...
Did I not PEMDAS?
Yeah, it'd be like 12. It'd be like 12 to 31, 32, something like that. So, but
right.
Either way,
don't do math live.
Either way, don't do math live, kids.
Don't do the math live. No, but you. I'm just saying right now, Penn State's not scoring over 10. So Vegas is just wrong.
Yeah.
Vegas is just wrong. Penn State's not scoring over 10 points.
Yeah. All right. Austin's over unders here. You ready for it?
Ready.
All right. Over unders for Brian's future team. Penn State's sacks.
Hold on, timeout. This is all over the place. Listen, I love Brian Hartline. He's not going to be the offensive coordinator here forever, and that's a good thing. For the future of Ohio State, at some point you want Brian Hartline to go out and get head coaching experience somewhere else. That's probably a good thing long term for the program. Because he could if that goes well, Ryan Day will, leave eventually, right? So you want Brian Hartline to go out and be a successful head coach somewhere. So that he can come back. Brian Hartline's barely an offensive coordinator at this point. He is still learning the offensive coordinator role. The Penn State head coaching job is That's a huge leap for him right now. That's a huge leap for him right now. Could he go be the head coach at
Toledo?
He could probably do better than Toledo. Was somewhere we needed somewhere halfway.
Cincinnati.
Could he go be the head coach at Cincinnati? Sure.
But Cincinnati's doing pretty good this year, so
yeah. Well, which typically for them means that their head coach gets poached.
Yes. All right. Penn State sacks given up at 2.5. They've only given up 7 sacks all season, so a sack a game. I'm going to go under on this one. I just don't think they're going to be able to pass a lot.
They might be forced to have to try if Ohio State.
No, I'm saying is, yeah, I'm going to go under. I'm just going to go under. I'm going to go with my gut feeling here. 2.5. I think Ohio State could get 2 sacks, but I know Ohio State is one of the best in the country in sacks right now, like QB sacks percentage, one of the best.
Right. But still, that's like 10%, right? If Ohio State gets a sack for every 1 pass attempt, or excuse me, gets 1 sack for every 10 pass attempts, which is about what, actually it's closer to 11, I think. But let's just say 10 for the sake of easy math. Is Penn State going to try to throw the ball 30 times in this game? Probably not.
No.
So yeah, I'll go under.
I was trying to find this. Yeah, Penn State's 34th in the country in letting up sacks right now, so only at 4%. While Ohio State is number 4 at defensively at getting sacks at 10.6%, number 4 in the country. So
they have a different.
I'm just going to go under.
Penn State's numbers to me don't necessarily matter a ton. You have a different coach, different quarterback,
and all that. Yeah,
and they've played a pretty, except for like 1 game against Oregon, they've played and 2 games because let's count Iowa. They played a pretty shit schedule up until this point.
Sure.
Actually, Toledo wouldn't be a bad starting place for him. Yes, it would be. If you go from the coordinator at Ohio State to the head coaching job at Toledo, it's because you were not doing a good job as the coordinator at Ohio State. That is a step down. A coordinator at Ohio State to the head coach at Toledo is a step down. You get demoted to head coach at Toledo.
All right. Reese tackles for the game, over under 7.5. I'll go over. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Going to try to. I think that's how Penn State's going to have to win the game, is running on the ground, and that's just going to go right through Reese. So I'll go over.
I'm going to agree with you and say over. The problem here is going to be that the box is going to be pretty heavily loaded. So who ends up getting the tackles kind of feels like a crapshoot.
Sure.
If the offense and defense are a little bit more spread out, then more of the tackles I think would go to him and Styles. But you're probably gonna have a 3rd linebacker this game. You're probably gonna have a 4th safety up in the box this game. A lot of those linebacker tackles are gonna get spread out. And then if Ohio State scores a bunch of points early and Penn State's forced to throw, that's going to make this number hard to hit as well. So I am going to say over, but it's a good line. It's a tough line.
Okay. Singleton and Allen carries.
Hopefully
over
it's
under
the DTs. The DTs
24 and a half.
The DTs don't have to make tackles to make plays.
24 and a half carries, Jared, for Singleton and Allen for the game here.
I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go over for this one.
Yeah. Ours do make tackles, but I'm just saying they don't have to.
Yeah. JJ total yards for the game, 123 and a half. I mentioned that like the strength for this defense, for Penn State's defense, is their secondary. I'm going to go under. Just I think Ohio State, especially if Bo Jackson is healthy, will probably try to run it more in this game. So I think that's just going to be less attempts thrown to JJ's way here. So I'll go under.
I'm going to go over, and here's why. I think Penn State's going to walk into this game thinking, you know what, we can cover him. They're going to think, yeah, you know what, we can cover him. We have really good defensive backs. We can cover him. We don't need to double team him. We don't need to triple team him. We got this. And then they're going to pay the price for that. Especially sure. Penn State's run defense is not very good, which means if Ohio State's able to get a good run offense going, that will, bring the safeties up, which can help. I think we get a big Jeremiah Smith is my point. I think we get like a big Jeremiah Smith touchdown this game.
Okay. All right. We differ on that one. All right. Saying completions, 23.5.
Over.
He's only done that twice this year. I'm going to go under. Completions, not attempts. Completions.
Yeah, you talked me out of it. Under.
Okay. All right, and we have next one here is Grunkenmeyer total yards at 137.5. Under.
How many How many quarterbacks? Let's just do passing yards. I'm not gonna make you do math. Let's just say passing yards. How many opposing quarterbacks, that's the word I was looking for. How many opposing quarterbacks have thrown for over 123 against Ohio State? Like, it happened against Illinois. We can count that one. I know that happened. But how many other quarterbacks? Because I think the number would be surprisingly low. I think the number is surprisingly low because 120... Was it? 137 is not a high number for a quarterback. Kyle, I'm vamping for you as you look this up, so feel free to interrupt me.
Okay, Manning 1. Washington was 2.
Okay, yeah.
And Illinois was 3.
Okay. So the 3 best quarterbacks we've played this year. Got it.
Yep. I'm going to go under.
Spike says that we're averaging 131 through the air, which is probably where Austin got that number.
If you take out Grambling, it's 141.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go under as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because even if Grunkenmeyer is, you can count Grambling or not count Grambling. There's no bad there.
Yeah.
Even if Grunkenmeyer comes out and is like, again, twice as good, which still wouldn't be a lot, but twice as good as he was against Iowa, not necessarily statistically, but just like, as a quarterback, he much improved with some actual practice time. The Penn State's wide receivers are still shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And last one, Jackson and West rushing yards at 103.5. I'm going to go with my theme here, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go over.
Man, it just depends. It so heavily depends on Jackson's health.
It is, but I'm going to trust that Jackson is healthy here, and if he isn't, well then I lose a point.
No, you don't, because I'm going to agree with you. So we'll go down together because right. if Jackson, let's say Jackson's 90% healthy, I think they hit this.
All right, and that's it. That is our episode, and then we got to know our enemy, Penn State, not our rivals, Nittany Lions.
James Franklin back from the dead this Halloween, rising from the grave. Do you think it's a mistake? It's all of the new trend in college football is to fire your coach mid-season as opposed to waiting until this. It used to be we'd have like.
Do?
What's that?
So what are you gonna do? Like you can't hire a coach in the middle of the season.
It used to be that like the week after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Monday after Thanksgiving it just, like, the news wire would blow up. It would be a bloodbath, just head coach after head coach after head coach just getting the axe. Because they didn't like to fire coaches mid-season in college football, but that meta has shifted. And I don't know why that meta has shifted. I'd be interested if anyone has any theories, drop them in the YouTube chat. Why has that meta shifted? Does anyone have a good theory on that? Or is it just monkey see, monkey do? Some organization started doing it, so some other organizations also started doing it. Is it monkey see, monkey do, or is there good actual reasoning behind it? Probably to keep NIL money happy. Keeping boosters happy has been around for as long as college football has been around. I mean, because even if they weren't paying players before, they were still building press boxes. But now it has more impact. No, not to the school presidents, because it's still money. The money might be going to different places, but the entire purpose of the football programs is to drive donations and to drive admissions. It is the advertising wing of the university. That is what college athletics is. It's just advertisements. It's the front porch of the program. That's the South.
Yeah. All right, Jared. We do have to wrap it up.
That's the end of the episode.
Anything else?
Again, if anyone has, if there's any good theories as to why the meta has switched, I've yet to find it, and let me know in the YouTube chat. That's it. And also do the like and subscribe thing, I guess. Whatever those things I'm supposed to say as a person who posts on YouTube. All right. That's it, Kyle. That's the end of the show. Do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Two quick things here. Ohio State going to do a moment of silence for both Nick Mangold and Bob Maggs.
Yeah.
Bob Maggs just recently passed away. He was a multi all Big Ten center years ago.
Yeah.
And as well as Urban Meyer, Jared,
who's fine,
going to be ringing the victory bell.
Yes.
For this game.
Yeah. Fox will be on campus, so that's.
Yeah, they'll definitely have cameras up in there, and Urban Meyer going to make it a big deal and all that. So we'll get to see it.
Well, of course, Fox wants. Of course, they're doing the pregame, and Urban's gonna be ringing the bell. They're gonna love that. Add the Fox cameras, and everyone are gonna love that.
Yeah. All right, that's all. There's a lot more, but I'll just stick with those two.
That's perfectly fair. Yeah, so that's it. That's the end of the show. So tonight's ending music will be brought to you by Courtney from work. Just like on Monday, just like on Wednesday. If we have actually keep a playlist of all of the songs we play on the show, which you can find on our YouTube channel, or you can go straight to the playlist, which is a YouTube playlist, just by going to music.thesloopcast.com. Or again, the playlist is just published to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.thesloopcast.com. Or of course, just search Sloopcast on YouTube. You'll find it. So, and also the songs are in the show notes, because I know on YouTube we don't actually play the song because we can't, because copyright, but it's in the show notes if you want to click on it. And again, the larger playlist is also linked. So, or it's not linked, but I told you what the addresses are. So, with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Courtney from work.